A couple years ago, I'd received a phone call from a 74-year-old lady who had mentioned that a law firm that we work closely with suggested that her and I speak. She had sold her land to one of the biggest buyers in the Central Valley. She'd already been receiving installment payments for several years, so from a tax standpoint, there really wasn't much that we could do. However, that really wasn't her focus at this point. She was more focused on protecting and growing what her family had spent generations building. We worked side by side, preparing her entire estate for this one big day, when she'd receive the final balloon payment. But 5 months before this payment was due, the buyer had contacted her, offering to continue the installment payments. We went back and forth, talking about what the pros and cons would be, and ultimately she said no, that she was ready to move on. 3 months later, she received a letter in the mail. The buyer let her know that he was unable to make this final payment. However, that they would increase the interest that they were paying her and continue with an installment schedule that would have expedited the process. What happened next is why we do what we do. Our team, myself, the client, and their attorney, spent an entire year fighting for what was rightfully hers. We served foreclosure notices 7 different times. We stayed coordinated, strategic, and relentless during this entire process. And in the end, the client got exactly what she needed: her money and every dollar that was promised to her. When we say that we coordinate and quarterback this entire process, this is what we mean. We don't just show up to talk about returns. We fight for what matters, because your legacy is worth protecting.